out there. They're two identical pieces, so we're going to go ahead and get them tacked up. We're going to do these in stages also, because the way the holes are around the bottom, they're going to be right up against the weld. So I want to go ahead and weld that and cut into it and relieve each one of those holes good before we put the outer on, because we've got braces that's going to come down all the way around it too. So before we put that bracing on, I want to make sure that we've got our relief. We can do it afterwards, but it's just much easier to do it now. So some things you just have to build and do in stages, and that's all right too. We'll spray us down with a little anti-spatter. So our cleanup won't take as long because we've got a pretty good weld up here to do, and then run down a little also. Alright, pretty good. I've already got my braces cleaned up, but we have a jig that we'll put together and use so that the braces stay lined up. And once we get that set up, we'll go back and do a cleanup. Everywhere everything's going to touch, we've already done all the weld prep, steel prep on these. So get my hood, let's go to work. Popping is sounding bad. We ever knock it way down good too, they'll stop that. If not, we'll swap out our tips. Yeah, that popping is coming. They use a coolant when they cut that, so I've got to do a better job prepping, getting that out of the way and doing just a wire brush to do. Like I said, once we get them complete, I'll get you some close-up pics on the finish work. We got these to do, and a set of indicators or followers, whatever you want to call them, and then we'll get some close-up pics and everything. I'm going to prep these up and we'll get set up with our little fixture. Alright, so we've got everything prepped up and ready. This is a jig that Sabre built, and it helps to do the alignment on your braces. So all of these are drilled and tapped. So all you do is you put it on and you bolt it there. And pretty well you can slide it down, get it rough in position, and then let's kind of get everything roughly in, and then I'll do a little snug on the bolts. Nothing has to be real tight. And mainly just holding kind of everything in position. Because you want to leave it a little bit of slack on it, so that you can incrementally move down here and get everything just like you want it. So I normally just snug it a little bit, and then it's got some Allen bolts here, and that just kind of does the final little set, gets everything where it needs to be. And then you pretty well, you just go around, make sure everything's centered up between the flange bolt holes like you're supposed to be. Tack it off, and then when you get that done, you'll come back up and make a tack here, you take that off, and then we'll reuse it again for the next one. It makes it gravy. Fixtures on things like this that you do repetitively are, well worth the time it takes to make them. I've got one that I made for these indicators we'll be doing next, and it just cuts the time way down. And the main thing is that it makes sure that you're always giving them the same thing every time too. You don't want one to be a little cocky, and one to be off or anything like that. You want to be as consistent as possible on everything you do. So we'll just walk around and get all this little button tack. A lot of these jobs like this that we do them so frequently, that we've got a pretty well set price on everything. So the more efficiently you can do it, the better off you are. And if you're constantly making a lot of mistakes doing it, well, that gets into your profit margin, because we're not going to turn around and charge someone else extra money because we didn't do our job right. There we go. Now we just unbolt it, reset everything up, and tack up the next one the same way. So that's all it is to it. I don't know how long I've had this little jig. I've been using it for 5 years. They just send it out with every job, and I send it back with every job. So let them keep up with it. And that way we've always got it. And even though it doesn't look like much, I guarantee you they spend a lot of time making it. How that works. We'll set up. I'll go ahead and let you guys watch. I'll set up and do this next one. You can see on these two everywhere where I'm going to weld, I went ahead and took the scale off of it. So you know by now, I do not fight scale. I'm not going to deal with it. It's a lot quicker to spend a few minutes prepping and do it right the first time than to you have to go back and redo just simply because you didn't take time out to prep your material properly. That's all we did. Same thing we did last time. We just basically push everything around, get where it needs to be, and we weld it out. So I'm ready to start welding on this one. And then we'll tack that one up and weld it out also.